Good morning and welcome to the Camnet Breakfast Show today, Tuesday, 3rd May 2022. Actually, today is even Press Freedom Day. So happy Press Freedom Day to my fellow media practitioners out there. So my name is Zipporah Mshala and I'm going to be hosting the breakfast show with my co-host, Alex Shimba. So today we're going to look at some pertinent issues in the country. At 7:30, we're going to be joined by Zambia Police spokesperson, Mr. Ray Hamonga, who's going to talk about a number of pertinent issues. And also we're going to ask important questions regarding the allegedly abducted mobile money booth attendant, Pamela Chisumpa. And you can also call in and give your questions to Mr. Ray Hamonga. How do you think the Zambia police is currently working in handling crime? So do call in at 7:30. Our phone lines will be open. We're going to have Mr. Ray Hamonga and give your contributions. And at 8 hours, we're going to be talking about another pertinent issue in the country. Right now, we had the case of cholera, which was recorded in April, and yet we still have a lot of problems in the country, such as sewer bursts and others. So we're going to look at how is the sanitation situation in Zambia. Are we on the right path to 2030 agenda of achieving clean, good sanitation for all? That's Sustainable Development Goal number 6. And I'm joined by my co-host, Alex Shimba. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning and happy Press Freedom Day.
Yes, happy Press Freedom Day to you.
You are one of those who've actually experienced, harassment.
And the other time, actually, we experienced it together in Matero.
Like twice, huh?
Yes.
So how do you feel celebrating today? I mean, should be one of those days you feel free at last.
At last. Anyway, that's another, it's a discussion for when we get to that, but see, they have a lot of things to say on that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Good morning to all our viewers, and indeed we are going to have a quite interesting program today. As Zipporah, you know, there are a lot of security alerts in the country since April, you know, the 13th, and also going forward to 16th when the reports were made on the abduction of Pamela Chisumpa. And ever since we've been having updates from the security wings, you know, the Home Affairs Minister should be last week who made an update of the police service arresting about 8 suspects in that particular case. And today we're privileged to have Mr. Ray Hamonga, who's going to join us, discuss not just that topic, but also just security, community security in general. And also thereafter, we're going to be actually digging deeper into the issue of sanitation in the country. That is, we're having one of our stakeholders in the sector, was actually the Plumbing Association of Zambia President, Mr. Moses Chongo. And before we just spoil everything we have prepared, let's just have a little exercise, and when we get back we'll be more active, we hope. And just stay tuned with us and follow through the exercise.
A very good morning to you and welcome to Morning Boost. This is Isaac Macha, always here in the morning to make sure that you have a great day. Therefore, today we're going to do some simple workouts, different kinds of workouts in 5 minutes. As usual, it's going to be a warm-up. Let's go. Start with the warm-up. Good morning. Let me know where you're watching us from. Let's go. Very easy. Okay, I'm gonna change very soon. Here's the next one. Thank you. Trotting. Do this anywhere. You can do this in your kitchen, from your living room, outside, car park, anywhere. Okay, here we go now. So the first workout we're gonna do, we'll do some mountain climbers. Okay, let's go. We'll do both for the beginners and for those already in the workout system. Go down, see my body. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7. Make sure that you're pushing in your knee in. 10. So I'm gonna do 40 mountain climbers. 20 will be basic. The next 20 will be a little bit advanced. Last 10. Go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You should be feeling your hands by now. 8, if you're doing it correctly. Okay, so that was 20. You can take a 15-second break, sip some water. Let's do the last 20 of mountain climbers now. Yes, she just sipped some water. Don't mind, the person behind the camera. Let's go now, 20 of them. Okay, 10 in breaks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 more to go. Okay, let's go. Last 10. I'm sure my 15-second break is up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Here's an active break. That was 10. Try this. Leave a comment. Let's see how you're doing. Let's match. 2 steps each. 2. 2. 2 steps. I'm going to add a grapevine now. 2 each. Grapevine. Try this, daddy. 2 each. Stay at it. I'm gonna change soon. Let's match. Keep matching. 1, 2. 1, 2. Let's run now. See? You just need a little space for you to do your running. Almost done, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I always feel good every time you join me. So make sure to do this every day and you're gonna be fit. Don't miss another session next week. This is Isaac Matsa and I'm signing out with a punch on your face. 1, 2.
I hope you had a wonderful stretch there because I did, and especially that today is Press Freedom Day. I made sure I overdid it because I'm celebrating today. And so just now we are going to have our health segment. We're going to be joined by Dr. Msole Chipoya, who's the lead epidemiologist for vaccine preventable diseases at Zambia National Public Health Institute. So the doctor is going to help us discuss clinical presentation and pathopsychology of polio. I'm sure you're also wondering, like, what is this? It sounds very complicated. But I'm sure the doctor will help us to break down the topic. So let's just have the doctor join us, and we're going to discuss more about what she's going to talk about after she's done.
morning, viewers. My name is Dr. Musole Chipoya. I'm an epidemiologist at the Zambia National Public Health Institute in the Surveillance and Disease Intelligence cluster, focusing on vaccine-preventable diseases. I'm also a member of the Medical Women's Association of Zambia. Today we will continue with the very important topic of polio, which is also known as poliomyelitis. Today in particular, we'll be focusing on the clinical presentation as well as the pathophysiology, which is just how does this virus affect one's body after one has been infected with this virus. So like we said in our previous discussion, polio is a very highly infectious disease. It is highly transmissible from one person to another, and it is transmitted through a fecal-oral route. So one has to ingest the virus. They take it in or they drink with ingested food which is contaminated or water which is contaminated with this virus, and then it continues to multiply in the body and then affects the body. So we also talked about how exactly this virus, we can prevent one getting infected with this virus. The only prevention that is there is prevention by taking a vaccine, which is either the BOPV or IPV. In addition to that, we also want to note that infection with poliovirus, once one gets paralysis, that paralysis is lifelong and there is no cure for polio. So the main theme here is actually that we need to actually prevent by vaccination. So we'll get back into our current session where we're now discussing how exactly does this virus affect one's body. So when one gets infected with this virus, as we said earlier, it starts to multiply in the throat, it multiplies in the intestines as well, so that is our gut. And when that happens, it then moves from the intestines to the blood system and eventually to the central nervous system, which is mostly affected by this virus. When this happens, it causes interruption in transmission of neurons in the body, which are also called messages from the brain to the parts of our body, different muscles in the body. So when that transmission is severed, when that transmission is stopped because the virus has actually affected a certain part of a certain neuron of your body, then you will not be able to move that part of your body. So meaning you have paralysis in the affected part of the body. So this may be in the arm, this may be in the leg, and it usually affects one part of the body. So usually you find it's either one leg but not both, one arm but not both. So the side that is affected is where you have the paralysis. And when this paralysis sets in, you find that that part of the body starts to become atrophic, meaning it starts to shrink and to shrivel because it is not being used. So that is how it affects some people that may be infected with this virus. But through, like we had said earlier, this virus is multiplying in the throat as well as in the intestine. It also gives other symptoms which may be mild in certain people. So you have symptoms such as flu-like symptoms, you have a sore throat, you have a fever, you may have nausea as well as stomach ache from the multiplication that is happening of this virus in the gut. So what proportions of people are affected? So let's say 100 people are infected with the poliovirus. Of these 100 people, you find that 70 of them are actually going to be asymptomatic, meaning they are infected with that virus and they're able to infect other people, but there are no, you cannot see anything in terms of signs and symptoms. They are moving about just as everybody else is. They are very normal. Then you have the 30% or 29%. That 29% will present with very mild symptoms. Those are the symptoms we spoke about, which are more flu-like symptoms. You have headache, fever, joint pains or body aches, and you have abdominal pains, the nausea and vomiting that we spoke about, So these are very transient, and you find that within a period of 2 days to a week that these symptoms will all have cleared. Then you have the 1%. This is the unfortunate 1% that gets the paralytic disease, the ones that will have a lifelong paralysis as a result of infection with poliovirus. So for those that are affected, like we said, you have one part of the limb which will present with what is called acute flaccid paralysis. What we'll be looking for in cases with acute flaccid paralysis is any limb of the body which is floppy. We spoke about very big things about acute flaccid paralysis. But to a layman, what are we saying? Or just to every individual, how do we understand what acute flaccid paralysis is? So we're saying this is the sudden onset of weakness in any part of the body. So this may be your hand, your arm, or your leg. So when this happens, what we're looking for is a floppy type of paralysis, meaning you have no control of that. You have no control of that limb. It just drops. It's like when we talk about it, we'll say a door-like movement. You see how teddy bears or dolls have no control of movement. That's the type of floppiness or paralysis that we'll see in those that are affected with this type of paralysis. So that is the clinical presentation of most of our cases. We have the 70% who are asymptomatic, the 30% who will be with transient symptoms which are very mild, and then we have the 1% which will present with paralysis. That is it for today. We'll continue with our discussion tomorrow. My name is Dr. Musolech Poya, a member of the Medical Women's Association of Zambia. Please join us and keep watching Camnet TV. Thank you.
Thank you so much for staying tuned with us. That was Doc on the polio topic that has been discussing this week, and it's quite profound that we take note of everything that was discussed. Now, Zipporah, 3rd May as today acts as a reminder to government of the need, to respect their commitment to press freedom, and it's also a day that a day of reflection among the media professionals about issues of press freedom and professional ethics. Mm-hmm. Understand? So today really it's a big day for us who are in the media, and also government to just commit themselves to ensuring that there is press freedom in the country. And also there have been stakeholders pushing for access to information bill that has been quite stalled for a long time. Mm-hmm. Stakeholders like McDonald Chipinzi have been loud on this issue.
Civil, as well as CISCA, civil society constitution agenda, and all. Just
to ensure that we have access to certain information that these authorities tend to confidentially protect themselves from. So it's important that we have such conversation today, being the Press Freedom Day worldwide. People are celebrating this particular day, and we have actually, experienced some sort of, I don't know, you are better position to explain
some harassment. And,
that is.
Yeah, and anyway, before we even move into that, let's not forget our theme for this year, which is journalism under digital siege. So we're looking at a time where everyone now has a phone, almost everyone has got a computer, and you find that we have professional journalists, but then everyone also wants to be a journalist out there on the, maybe on social media. They spread rumors, and in the end, they taint the journalism profession. Yeah. So it has become like it's for just anyone. Alex, I've come, journalism in this, I don't know if it's just in Zambia, is not respected. I've come across people who say, so Bamtolankani, you also go and you also go to school, you know what I mean? It's as if
I think it's just as
you just wake up
yeah.
But they don't know that you actually have to identify news values, know what really to do. It's something that is actually like a real profession. So I think sanity needs to be restored to the journalism profession.
Even the perception towards journalism profession, I
people
think
people do not respect journalists mostly in Zambia. They do not. So I think we need to restore sanity, and also looking at journalism under digital siege. So looking at maybe in this world of social media, maybe you post a story online and while you're doing your job, people end up like condemning you. For example, Alex, you remember another time when we did a story of the Lebanese company, which was actually allegedly mistreating workers. And you find that when you posted just a segment, you know, like that's why they say you should always wait for it. When you posted a segment of that harassment, you saw the comments. Yes. Journalists, this, that.
So you think so you can just be going to any place?
Until the full story was played, then people understood. But we also know our media ethics, we know what we have to do, we know media laws, we know what we have to do, are professional. So really journalism has to be respected, and not everyone can be a journalist. I think these people actually have to be arrested. People who spread false news on social media purporting to be journalists. To be a journalist, you actually need to be trained.
Indeed, maybe just before we look at some of the stories that we compiled on this platform, we'll just be able to have conversation on press freedom. You can be one of the people who are actually in the field of journalism or any form of a media professional, and you can actually add your voice. So the phone lines are open right now and they are scrolling on your screens, and you can also add your voice on our Facebook page in the comment section, that we can be able to actually review certain conversation on this particular topic. We're celebrating press freedom, World Press Freedom today, the 3rd May of 2022, and
Alex, before we even jump into our stories, every day we need to give people how their kwacha is doing. Yes. So let's have a look at our money market so that we know exactly.
We almost forget, and don't forget about money, really. It's like you go in town without money. Let's just have a look of the money market today, the 3rd of May 2022. That is the United States dollars buying at 16 kwacha 0.86 in Ngwe and selling at 17 kwacha 0.19 in Ngwe. The Great British Pound buying at 21 kwacha 0.16 in Ngwe and selling at 21 kwacha 0.57 in Ngwe. The Euro is buying at 18 kwacha 0.89 in Ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 0.26 in Ngwe. South African Rand is buying at 07 Ngwe, 1 kwacha 07 Ngwe, and that is selling at 1 kwacha 0.09 Ngwe. And we've seen a bit of stability with the kwacha. United States dollars exchange rate, they are at 16 and also selling at 17. A conversation we've been having quite some time since last week, is it? Or the other week, actually.
Yeah, it's been stable. And just a reminder, our money market and health segment actually up for sponsorship, so you can sponsor the health segment and the money market, get visibility for your brand.
In case you're going for businesses out there, that's how the money market looks like today. And back to our conversation discussing press freedom in Zambia. How has it been for you? You maybe from the other side of the screen, or maybe in the profession itself, you can add a voice to this conversation and just give us an update on how we've performed since last year in that regard. Let's take some look of some stories that one of our journalists was harassed, and we should have a conversation over that.
Actually, Alex, I think we should start with the one from Matero, where we did that story in the cooperative.
Of the Rangos.
Cooperative Rango, definitely. Where you and I were locked up.
I protected you that day, and I'm proud to make mention of the fact that I can protect Zipporah, the famous Zipporah Mshal. Let's take a look.
Okay. Cadarism in markets has remained a problem for a long time, as it seems to be finding its way back to these facilities despite various efforts to curb the vice. These are alleged United Party for National Development UPND cadres who have dragged themselves to the police after wrangles at Lusaka's Buseko market over who gets to be in the market cooperative. Sources have told Camnet News that there is a disagreement in the camp as some want the market traders themselves to run the cooperative, while the other camp of alleged UPND cadres want to force their way into the cooperative. According to the sources, the cooperative, which goes by the name Buseko Timber and Grass Cooperative Society, has charges of approximately 1,000 kwacha for each truck of timber offloaded onto the cooperative land. They say it is due to this that the wrangle has emerged, as some allegedly want to make their way into the cooperative with the aim of pocketing funds. The Camnet news crew, which rushed to Matero police, were harassed by the cadres who had engaged in an exchange of blows, demanding for the footage to be deleted. Are you being violent to me? I go to the police. I'm a journalist. Please, I'm a journalist. You can't stop me from doing my job.
You're asking them.
Two Camnet TV journalists were then held against their own will by cadres at this room at the police station in full view of the police, as the cadres continued demanding for the footage to be erased. UPND Lusaka District Security Chairman Mr. Vincent Perry, however, came to the rescue and has explained the situation at the market.
We want our able minister to look into this issue seriously, because what is happening now is that the cooperative are regrouping, they are bringing people, youths from outside the market, harassing now marketeers.
Chair lady of the cooperative, in the company of other cooperative leaders, have aired their concerns.
Last week, banamenya secretary watu wake wachani wa cooperative bana mayuthi. So ndiye kuti ife ya kadarism stifuna mamene bakambira wa president sibaifuna na ife kadarism bamene bachitarasa stifuna ife tifuna peace yamene ifuna Zambia yonse.
Nenangu baleta bajabanzao bafuna kusebenzera pamozi balete kadarism. So banzao manje ndiye bamene bakana iya kadarizimu ba president banalesa kudala tienti konke chabe lo mwamene bakambira tisebenze na wa cooperative tipempeko nchito, but abo ba PF ndiye manje bali pamozi na UPND cadres bafuna basebenzere pamozi bazikolekita mandalama mu malo ya wene balibe mapepa ndiye vichitika patu pamalo.
It seems like cadarism is still there. It has not ended because they don't want to work on their own. What they want is to just having something for free, and then to make matters worse, they are being harassing us as the owner of the cooperative.
Meanwhile, when contacted over the issue of cadres in markets, UPND spokesperson Mr. Cornelius Mutua could not give a comment, stating that he was held up in a meeting and would call back, but did not do so by broadcast time.
Unfortunately, I'm in trauma right now and I'm having a Zoom meeting. Maybe I'm done, I'll call you back.
Camnet News has since reached out to the Lusaka City Council to get more information on the matter.
Okay, let me ask the market manager, then I'll get back to you. He will give me the details.
Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka. So there you have it. Today's Press Freedom
what
Day.
Journalists go through. And I could hear the voice in the background. I'm just doing my job. You can't touch me.
You know, right? And you know, it's very dangerous for you as a journalist. I remember one time recently, I was in town, you know, people don't even understand what you're doing. You're just getting general shots, you know, like maybe for a story. And this conductor gets off the bus and runs towards me. He runs towards me. I told him, no, I'm a journalist. I'm just getting videos of the Central Business District to use for my story.
It's public, promise.
And then he was like, because you don't have a police, now you're going to manage moving with police as journalists, really. We have to do our job freely. People need to actually allow us to do our job in peace. And you know, journalism always has an objective. For example, we need to expose the wrongdoings. For example, issues of cadarism. People say cadarism has ended, but as well on the ground, we go there, people tell us what is, like, you saw what happened, we're being harassed. So this is actually, so our job as journalists is to actually bring out the wrongdoing so that our country can develop. But if we're harassed in the process, then that's going to be difficult. So if you ask me, Alex, you are saying, you're asking me, I don't feel free as a journalist, because after whatever harassment we've gone, no media body has even spoken out against whatever we went through.
Yeah.
It has just been quiet. Oh, it's no more, no media body has condemned, nothing like that.
Yeah. I think it should be a profession which should address such issues really to protect journalists.
They're there, but they don't react. Like, for example, myself,
surprising.
I've gone through that many times, they've not reacted. They're just quiet. I don't feel free as a journalist.
Wow.
I don't feel free.
you are indeed, I can feel the pain. But anyways, moving on, the president has actually made comments on the issue of just ensuring there is press freedom in the country. And even while he was in opposition, he used to make promises such as there will be no closure of media houses when I come into office. Promises such as, you know, I'll enact the access to information bill when I'm in office. Such conversations, and I think this should be, like we said in the preamble, this should be a reminder to the office of the president to just ensure those promises will be actually be revisited and be, you know, fulfilled in this time that
and
now
I think
is
we've
in
not
office.
seen any closure so far, have we?
No, not
We've
really.
not seen any closure so
no.
far, but previously
so
we
far
had...
so good, because in the previous regime, you know, we saw
The
media houses
Post.
like the Prime TV, the Movie TV being cautioned over time, and all those media houses. So you could see that there was really media houses operating on the neck.
Okay, let's just play the last story, Alex, as we get ready to jump into our next segment. So let's just take a look at the story where we played on eviction of some Lebanese workers. It was a sight of confusion at Best Choice and Manufacturing Limited Tuesday afternoon in Lusaka's industrial area, as families of workers who were allegedly fired without being given reason in February 2022 sought to seek audience with company management after they were evicted from their housing accommodation within the company premises Monday evening. The workers who had reached out to Camnet TV alleged to have been fired without any reason. General Manager at the Lebanese-owned company which specializes in manufacturing snacks, Mr. Harrison Piri, however, at the time alleged that the four had been dismissed because they were employed on the basis of nepotism by their supervisor, who had also been dismissed. When Camnet TV reached out to Assistant Labour Commissioner at the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, Mr. Kaba Sochola, over the matter, the Assistant Labour Commissioner, who spoke off camera, stated that the matter was being investigated. The story, however, took a sad turn after the former workers, along with their families, were evicted Monday evening by the company, while the matter is still being investigated, leaving them stranded.
Brother wanga sevenza 25 years wampasa ndalama. Wasi wampasa ndalama. Kampani valike. Matabani ya bwerele kwao. Islam Zambi. Mwavera, why bavutisa kuwanga?
My father has been working for this company for 25 years. Kudala company ezoko kusaidia kuja. My father was there for this company. Suffered for this company and even never much return. This is what they have done in return. Kutipisha banja by force. My father was sick. Bazana sugar as a mucharu kuja paka nyama clinic, he was admitted. The moment he was healed, like before he recovered, wanapwera to kwenda kwa mbosa enzo company wanakanira atuipa suspension without a reason. What is the reason without the reason?
I'm very disappointed. I'm appealing to our president. Kanyama being a Kanyama, you know, Kanyama is a Kanyama constituency. All these industries are in Kanyama. We want our MP, Mr. Chinkuli, to look on this matter. We want the Minister of Labor to look on this matter.
Bana bagona panja. Sina kondwele ne bana kugona panja so yali. Uyu muntu asebenza 25 years. Wasa napasa ndrama kutenda kasakire nyumba. Muntu nukumupasa chabeolo kuti nawe yakupasa madezi ya mwamuti mabenefit mampasa. Ora 3 months it is ulamulo ni 3 months muntu kuti akasakire nyumba kali na bana bake.
An attempt to get a comment from the general manager, Mr. Harrison Piri, took a sour turn as he became aggressive towards journalists after allowing them into the premises. Mr. Piri locked two Camnet TV journalists, namely Blessings Chakwila and Zipora Mshala, in his office after seeking to get a response from the company on the matter.
So are you locking the door on us? Like,
I can lock it.
But why? Why would you do that?
Wait for it.
He further attempted to destroy evidence of his harassment by trying to confiscate the camera.
What do you think I'm doing?
I said you want to talk to me?
But don't touch the camera. Don't touch the camera. Don't touch the
Meanwhile, Democratic Party DP President Mr. Harry Kalaba says the United Party for National Development UPND administration should ensure that citizens are protected, despite welcoming investors.
People can be told not to have holidays. People can be told even on holidays they're supposed to be working. There's a lot that is not happening, right? And the so-called New Dawn government is just watching. They're watching. The only thing I saw was that when they won elections, they called all these so-called investors. They were there at Pamozi, celebrating with them. When they were fundraising money for their party, they called all these same people you call investors. They're the ones who are there contributing money to them. How can they reprimand them?
Camnet News will continue to monitor the matter to its conclusion. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Well, that was something to do with the harassment that Zipporah Mshala experienced in some Lebanese companies. So how was the experience really from that scene?
Okay, some it was thrilling, some it was scary, and it's investigative journalism, isn't it? Whereby, okay, of course, before you go, the gate was closed. You got, like, of course, we told them want to have an interview. You go there and find that they're actually tricking you. They actually locked us up because they have a CCTV camera. So they're seeing everything that's happening there. They say, okay, let them come in. The gate man opens, you go inside, they lock you up. So really, so yeah. But anyway, today being press freedom, I'm sure those are some of the things which you have to appreciate. Some of the things we go through just to get news and to expose some wrongdoings.
Indeed. So the phone lines are open and you can have conversation right about now. We jump to another segment where we discuss the national security and social media. And in our studios, we are joined in by Zambia Police Service spokesperson, Mr. Ray Hamonga. Good morning, sir, and welcome to this show.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Mr. Hamonga.
Morning to you, Zipporah.
Before you can even jump into the issue of security, we'll take an advantage just to get a comment on how best the police service is performing towards ensuring that there is press freedom in the country. You know, on the background that, you know, the previous regimes you've quite experienced, you know, police brutality in terms of just handling well the journalists when they are working. So how is the outlook and the landscape in regarding press freedom?
Well, I think we as Zambia Police Service enjoy a very cordial working relationship with the media. And in as much as I know the media or the media fraternity would want us to come out very clearly that we are going to defend journalists. Of course we do that, but of course you know that every citizen has a right to freedom of association, and also freedom to enjoy the peace that we have in this country. So as police, we have treated these cases with utmost urgency. When you report a matter that involves not only a journalist, but any person, any Zambian, whoever has his rights infringed upon, such a person needs to be protected by the police, so that person or perpetrators of that vice of infringing upon the rights and the freedoms of any other person is dealt with according to the law.
Indeed. And like we earlier said, the phone lines are scrolling on your screens, and you can also add your voice on Facebook pertaining social and also social media amidst national security. Zipporah.
Definitely. And so, Mr. Hamonga, maybe just get the ball rolling. Everyone in the country, I'm sure, is actually interested in hearing about the case of the allegedly abducted mobile money booth attendant, Pamela Tsumpa. And so people have been questioning what is happening on this matter. So what's your response towards that as Zambia Police?
Okay, thank you very much. Like we have issued statements before, that as police we are actively pursuing this matter to ensure that we reach the conclusion of it all. We want to get to the bottom of it all. And like you have rightly heard, the minister did issue a statement to the effect that we are holding on to 8 suspects that are helping us with investigations, so that we continuously, dig out what could have happened on that particular day. And of course, we are making progress continuously to investigate, so to ensure that this matter is conclusively done. So the only challenge that we have is each time when members of the press are asking us questions as to where are we, where have we.
But people have been calling for constant updates, don't you? Because they're saying maybe there's anxiety. Don't you think that's necessary?
Well, of course, it's not anxiety that is going to solve the problem, and we have to manage the two. And this is why you see us updating the nation at an appropriate time, because the same updates that we are giving can actually jeopardize investigation or can collapse the whole case. And this is why we are careful as what to release. Because, for instance, if I'm looking for you, Zipporah, and your colleague knows that you are together in the crime, and if I say we have apprehended Zipporah, then it means the other person will actually know that they are close to getting me. And this is where we need you to understand, especially the journalists. You need to help the public understand we are not hiding anything. It is in our interest to solve this matter. So when we say that we are investigating, it means we are really doing what we mean. Because we can't just be waking up from home and just come and sit in the office and say we are investigating. It doesn't work like that. We are really on it 24/7. We are not sleeping. Our officers are working around the clock. We have made shifts so that we continuously investigate this matter. So the challenge is people need to understand that what is happening. For instance, people are saying, no, how can the police and Zicta fail to trace her when she went with the phone? But we saw what happened. The phone was abandoned. And we're not dealing with the ordinary citizens, that these are people that actually know that if we have this thing, then we can be caught. So you saw what happened. We discovered the phone was abandoned somewhere elsewhere on a rubbish pit. So even if you are tracking for the phone, you are looking for the wrong person. Secondly, remember that that person was posting some posts on social media. We mentioned that person was posting on social media. In fact, he was actually even using an identity of somebody who was just a student and who had nothing to do with this matter. So you see what it is. So it's not like a question of just a simple case where somebody has a phone, then you track it and then you get it. No, no, no. We are dealing with persons that have high-tech knowledge what they are doing. If you go, when you check on their profiles, we are able to see that these persons are not just ordinary people who are ordinary like yourself, where you get a phone, you use it. No. So, also even the issue of SIM cards. You know that people nowadays, some people can even acquire a SIM card which is in somebody's name. Okay? These mobile, whatever you call them, these people that sell this SIM card, mobile agents. When you go and buy a SIM card, okay, you leave your NRC. Somebody else comes, they sell him a SIM card using your identity. So this is where we are aware of these challenges that people do not understand. So to the Zambian people that are asking questions about this matter, we want to mention that we are actively pursuing all avenues. And by the way, we have even gone further to say, okay, if you have information, here's an email, crime@zambiapolice.org.zm. Send us an email, okay? We've even gone further to provide other phone numbers. I'm sure you've seen the phone numbers. And I don't see the media publicizing the phone number. I don't know why you don't publicize them. If you're really concerned about this matter, we have given the numbers, we don't see you publicizing them. What is the problem? You're not concerned, you just forward your phone number.
And just
yes, and we said, so can you please publicize those numbers? So if you are really concerned about the issue of this case, we have done our part as police. We have given the phone numbers, even on WhatsApp, you can send. So please, shall we all work together towards this thing? This issue of armchair critiquing, it doesn't help. Because if you complain that the person is not doing anything, but what are you doing yourself as a citizen? Because every citizen in this country is supposed to be a good citizen by providing information to the necessary institution, which is Zambia Police.
Okay, and so Mr. Mwanga, there have also been some sentiments, like recently we've attended press briefings where some stakeholders allege that maybe there could have been speedy action if Pamela was actually a daughter of a prominent person as Zambia Police. What's your response to that?
What, for us, in the eyes of the police, we don't view at the status of somebody. We view every citizen as a citizen of this country. Any death or any bad thing that happens to any person, we view it just as such. Even you, Zipporah, if you killed your own child, we will not say because it's your own child now we're not going to arrest you. We will apprehend you and detain you for murder. And you not even have to say that no. And this issue, actually, let me make it very clear. This issue of where somebody dies, then they say, no, it's our relative. So now, why are they not informing us? When somebody dies, it's not a question of your relative, it's a national issue. Murder is a national issue. The rest of the persons are just mere witnesses. The complainant in that matter, the key complainant is the state. It's not you, it's not about you saying, no, because it's my child now. No, 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 no. The state is the key, actually the complainant in that matter, when somebody dies. So it's not a question of like, when somebody says, you know, me, they're not even informing me, what are they doing? No, 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 it's not like that. The state is a complainant in that matter. So, who's the complainant? The state. And now that's why you see the police taking lead in such cases.
In light of social media, really, how has it impacted your operations? By that I mean, looking at the dates, as we talk of the issue of Pamela, there is a 13th of April where it was alleged that she got missing.
Yes.
And there is a date of 15th where they received a strange call that was the friend, and the 16th of reporting to Zambia police, the 19th of actually stakeholders like the MP for Petauke visits the police headquarters. Where is the police from 16th to 19th when now we see videos on social media, people are now talking about it? Could the police have been more active without the playing of the role that social media played? Are we seeing a bit of laxity from the police service?
No, look here. The case happened on the 13th of April. The report came 3 days after that to the police. Okay? Of course, you know, the police don't just operate without any case.
Yeah.
Okay? We need to have a report for us to respond. Now, what happened is, this person went missing on the 13th. You have 3 days. There was no report. So that lapse also could have contributed to where we are now, because if you report a matter there and then someone has gone missing, then we move in action quickly to investigate this thing. Now, we as police officers have a role to advise the nation. The problem we have now is everybody wants to become a policeman. When we say that's why when we say we're investigating something, no, what are you doing? No. We are not just here by chance. Just like you are seated here. You're not here by chance. You are interviewing me here. Do you see me say, no, this light is too much, switch it off? No, I don't do that. I just come here, get an interview. Now, this is why the problem is. People want to come into just playing the role of the police when they're not police officers. Where have they been trained? And we have even seen people being quoted as, giving stories that relate to crime. What qualification does people hold? So, in short, what are we saying? We are saying whatever you see on social media is not true. We have seen people that have posted things on social media stating that they saw Pamela being abducted. We have done investigations. We have ended up arresting them. We have seen people that have come saying, I've been abducted. I was in December. I was 2 days. We have instituted investigations. We have found that's not true. So, let us respect institutions of governance. When the police speaks, that's the final authority. If you see anything on social media, until we speak, it's trash. Because for us as police, we don't just speak. Other people will say, when ask them, say, no, I just heard it from this person. I just heard it. Us, we don't speak like that. We investigate to get the bottom line. So find the facts, and there we'll find the facts, then we issue a statement. So what you see on social media is not true. Not everything you see on social media is not true. For instance, people have been claiming, I've heard people continuously speaking that there was someone who was abducted from Kanyama. Now, that case in Kanyama, and I've repeatedly talked about it, and I'm going to speak it again. What happened is, that lady, on the 16th of April, of March, she was approached by the parents. By the employer. That, please, let's meet on 17th, you give me the money, because she was the one who was keeping the money for the booth. 17th, they called, that was the end, nothing had happened, and the 17th, the employer was calling her, please, can we meet? She never responded. My friend, can we meet? She never responded. Until in the evenings, she stood up, went to Kanyama, got the child, off she went. And she just went by roadside, called the sister, please bring my child. And then she disappeared. 18th, the employer now had to come to the police and report that, well, this person has gone out with my money. So now, people are talking about abduction, but nobody wants to talk about the issue of the money issue. So for us as police, we have a case of theft by servant, and it's on record. It's there. Others have come up. No, I saw this. I saw what they said. No, how can the child not fail to locate the place? We got that child, and you remember what happened? That child was actually found somewhere in Woodlands.
Police.
We got that child. We tried to locate the place. That is the 4-year-old child. Honestly, if people, even adults who get lost in Lusaka, what about a 4-year child? It's not even possible. Well, of course we did, according to what people were talking about, we got the child, could you take us maybe where you are staying? She could not locate the place. And of course that matter is also under investigations. But what is key in this matter is, we have an official report of theft by servant. Before all this thing happened, someone was being caught. Why is she hiding? Okay? So that is where we are in that matter.
Okay, so Mr. Amonga, we've also seen, after the Pamela case, we've also seen many other stories on social media. People have been saying, no, I captured this person, this old man, and all that. Have these formally been reported to the police, or maybe are they just causing anxiety in the country?
The problem we have is even you journalists entertaining people coming to report to you criminal matters. It doesn't help at all. Because, you know, what it is, we are police officers. We are on government salary. We can't just be working anyhow. We need to have official reports so that we are accountable.
Does it mean they've not formally reported those people?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm still coming to that. What I'm saying is people should come and report formally to the police. Not to you, the media. Even you, the media, don't air things which you have not reported to the police, because you are causing this anxiety to the nation. If people come to report to you, I say I've been defiled. What does it help? If they haven't come to the police, in fact, they are wasting time, because by the time they're going to go to the hospital, there will be no evidence. And then you say, police, what are you doing about these matters? So even you as journalists, when somebody comes to you to say, I've been beaten, or I've been done this, have they been to the police? Because it's very important that they come to the police. Because if they don't report, how is the police going to operate? It's for us, if there's no report, it's as good as there's no crime. So even these things that you rush to air, please, let's do the correct thing. Criminal investigations can only be instituted by a report to the police, or through the magistrate court, or a court of law. That's why you can institute criminal investigations. Criminal investigations are not just instituted in the air. You just speak, no, I've been beaten. So what? You have no evidence. If you have been beaten, you'll be healing. Because if someone beats you now, if it takes 3-4 hours, you will heal. Even one day, you will heal. If the doctor examines you, go to court, there will be nothing. Because the doctor has examined you, there's no pain. So there's no injury. So if immediately somebody, the first point of contact should be any criminal matters, it's the police. This issue of just putting things on social media, airing them on the media, it doesn't help. People need to make report. Like I was saying, in the case of Pamela, if people report on the 13th, we instead our investigations, we would have got maybe even the location of the phone. But this was the time to get the phone, go and throw it. Okay? 3 days, they threw it. So by the time we were coming to find out, it was just abandoned. We found this poor lady was using the phone. Actually, the child picked it, gave it to this poor lady. When we found this poor lady, even in the interview, I can tell that this person is innocent. Okay, so please, the first point is report to the police.
Let's talk about, in the context of reporting, there are people who are actually willing to provide information to the police service in a particular case. But then there have been complaints from people to say when they provide the information, there's no adequate protection. Maybe the question would be, do you, as a police service, protect the whistleblowers in this context of reporting?
This is what I call the criminal's language. All these cases you are seeing that have been successful is because of the cooperation of members of the public. Mind you, we have the tools to use, but we don't have the information. Members of the public come forward to us and give us information, and then we act upon it, and we have these success stories. Even now, we have had members of the public who have come forward to give us information to what we're investigating. We have not given problems to any person. We only have a problem.
Don't they become suspects as well?
No, not at all. Not at all. It only becomes a problem where you come to the police and report a false report. You know, reporting and giving information to the police are two different things. Where you come, what I mean by reporting is you come to the front desk and say, well, I was abducted by so-and-so and so. Oh, okay, what happened? You start narrating. That's reporting now. Now, where you're giving us information to say, well, I heard that this thing happened. Oh, what happened? Then we'll get that information and then check it out. If it's wrong, we'll not have anything with you. You've just given us information. But where you come physically yourself, you say, no, me, this thing happened, A, B, C, D. That is now a report. We even write it in the OB, what is called occurrence book. That book, big book, find in the front desk. When you come there, you walk in, you bring yourself, actually, you walk in yourself, you come, I've come to report a case of abduction. Who was abducted is me. What happened? You tell us. Then we investigate and find that is false. That is why we have a problem. That's why we can arrest you for giving false information to the public, giving false information to the public officer. That is where it is a problem. But where you come and you say, well, like we have given these numbers, on WhatsApp, you report that, no, I have information. What is the information? We get it, then we verify it and check whether it's true or not. That one have no problem if you keep that information. But the problem is where you report. That's where the problem.
And Mr. Mong, Mr. Mong, after the Pamela issue, we saw some checkpoints, like in Mutendere, there near first bus stop. There were like police checking vehicles randomly, like you open your boot, and that happened for like 2 days. But then that has stopped. I think they were checking for some weapons and all those other things. So how sustainable are these operations, given that they just lasted for like 2 days? After 2 days, those operations stopped.
No, we have not stopped, and we will not stop. Because what we do ourselves is, this is why we have a problem now. You want us to tell you that no, we are going to be in Mtendere the whole night, and that even defeats the whole purpose of it. Okay, the issue is, we are dealing with people. You have to understand that we have this forum where we can't give our strategies out, and the media already want us to give us the strategies, and we will not do that. No. The issue is this. We are looking for criminals that are in the society. And you people, you inform the society. Okay? So if we tell you that today we are going to mount a night patrol in Emersdale, all the criminals will shift from Emersdale and go to Mtendere, where we have not mentioned. That's what happens. Okay? And we have been trying to talk about this thing every now and then. Every time we are fighting. It's why the new kind of journalists. For them to understand, we would have made about return. Ask the seniors. No. What I'm telling you is, in fact, this thing is not just in Zambia. It's a world over. There's this biggest question that has not been answered up to now. Why is it that the police who claim to save the public and the media who also claim to save the public are always at loggerhead? It's only that when you understand that question, when you understand the role of the police and understand the role of the journalists. Okay, this is why for us, like myself, who is in this office as a police officer, I have to be schooled either in public relations or journalism, so that because we understand, okay, because I understand my role. I know that your role is to inform the public, but now my role is to enforce the law. Now, this information that I gather as a police officer myself is I'm only at liberty to give it in a court of law. Certain cases, if I give them to the media, then it means the case will collapse. For instance, if I'm doing a scene in construction, somebody, what happens when somebody has murdered somebody? We have to take that person through that process to show us how he did it. Now, that's something when I'm doing it, some journalists want to come and film it. Now, if you film that footage, it comes on public domain, it can't be adduced as evidence in court. It's as simple as that. So we need to, and even the media, you need to take an interest, especially people that report on crime matters. They need to understand the role of the police, because at times we may be fighting on something you don't understand. For instance, if you have a head of state or a VVIP, when you make a cordon, that cordon is meant to protect that head of state or a VVIP. Okay? Now, you people, you want to cross the barrier where the policemen are standing. But the policemen are there to guard that person, because that person is holding the interest of the whole nation. Okay? So you need to understand some of these things so that you don't have unnecessary problems. Some people say, no, why are they filming to go and take a camera? As much as you want to take a camera to that person, you might be executed that person. We have seen people using drone to kill somebody. Have you not seen that in the world? I mean, world over, it has been happening. Somebody proposed to use a camera. It's not even a camera. Maybe it's even a gun. So that's why you have those things protected. So you need to understand the role of the police as a journalist so that you don't have this unnecessary problem. Even as police, we understand your role as journalists. Okay? So what we give you is, of course, they need to inform the public, but what should we give you out? We don't need to give more, because some of the things that we might give you might make the case collapse.
Okay, and maybe a question also in light of community security. There have been an issue of the need to install cameras across the country. How far have we gone as a police service to just make sure we implement that?
Okay. The installation of cameras, of course, is not necessarily some responsibility of the Zambia police. You know that there's a government that provides for those funds. Just like it is even in the police station. People have come, no, the police, we need a police station here. We don't have a budget that we use for construction of police station. It's the Ministry of Home Affairs. No wonder I've seen all the time, when the police station has been constructed, the minister will come and hand over to the police. How is it that? It's because we don't construct it. There's no way we can construct the police and hand over to ourselves again. It's not done like that. So government is in charge of infrastructure. So government constructs infrastructure, and then that infrastructure is given to us as police. As police, we provide the needed manpower to police station. And this is why, like now, in this time around, where we have this issue of CDF, members of the community need to engage their civic leaders. If they want a police station, engage your civic leaders. So they consult a police station, like police force in your locality. The police has no budget and why it's able to consult police station. So it's a sole responsibility of the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Have we gotten maybe an update from the Home Affairs? Because I remember last week when we had Mr. Honorable Jack Mwimbo, he made an update on that. Maybe from that angle of an update, how far has it gone?
Well, of course, don't tempt me to speak on behalf of the Ministry of Home Affairs. I don't speak for the Ministry of Home Affairs.
Okay.
But of course, you heard what the Ministry of Home Affairs said, that very soon these cameras will be commissioned. But of course, you need to understand that this infrastructure comes with a training as well. We need to put things in place. They could be they are put in place. People need to be trained to use all these things. Yeah, exactly. And people have heard, actually, today I heard on Hot FM say, no, these cameras. Of course, these cameras they are functional, but not to the
for capacity.
Yeah, not to that level. But of course, where we need to check on something, we're able to go and check.
Just add to that. Good morning.
Hello.
Yes. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Hello.
Hello. We are able to get you. Good morning. Thank you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Me, I'm Matson Mulishi.
You can go ahead with your contribution, sir.
I'm calling from Gendere. My name is Matson Mulishi. I'm a truck driver.
Oh, great. Your contribution.
One thing is, what if a thief come in the house, if somebody come in the house to attack you, then you beat that person, then the law take you to police, they put you in prison. How is it like that?
Thank you, Mr. Maliche, for that question. Indeed, Mr. Amonga will take
Mr. Maliche, the law is like this. When you allege a crime to somebody, that person is proven innocent until proven guilty. Now, the issue of you beating that person is like you want to inflict punishment on that person, okay? Now, the person or the institution that is mandated to give punishment is the court of law. So if you as a thief comes in your house, you apprehend such a person, of course the law provides...
They actually beat them.
You know, that's what I'm saying. When it actually provides for minimum force. If the force that the beating that you are giving that person is to enable you apprehend him, that is understood. But where somebody has been apprehended, you tie him on a tree, you go and get a stick, you start beating such a person. That is not allowed, because you are assaulting that person. What you need to do is, if you apprehend somebody, bring him over to the police station. It's only where you are struggling. If you are struggling to apprehend him, then you inflict some pain there. That's why to be understood, because you are using that force to apprehend him. But not where you have apprehended this person. Like we have seen some cases, they apprehend this person, there are even 5 of them. They tie him to a tree, bring a hosepipe, you start beating such a person. That is an offense, because you are inflicting pain on that person. Your role yourself is, if you want to apprehend him, don't beat him, bring him to the police. And this is why you find at times some people who come to the police with somebody who is almost dying. Then they say, no, we have brought this person. What is this? We will just get that person, take him to the hospital, put a guard there. Those ones who are beating him, we put them in cells. People say, but the police were brought. No. You don't need to beat such a person, because if that person, imagine that person, you bring him to the police and then he dies in cells. What's going to happen? Because they say, no, the police have killed him. It's not us. So this is why when you apprehend somebody, don't beat such a person. Just bring him out to the police. We take him to the law. The court is going to beat him or her by giving him a custodial sentence.
Okay, we have another call, even as we get to conclude.
Good morning.
Hello.
Yes, sir. You are through to Camnet Breakfast Show. Your name and where you are calling us from? Where Mlishan? Atwanishina. Okay. Okay. Contribution adjusting. All right. Thank you so much to Atasha Sana Padi your comment.
Okay, so, the concerns of Chingwea resident, that people that are being reported and then there's nothing being done. You know, at times it's not necessary that officers or police don't want to do anything. The role of each and every police officer is to fight crime. In a locality like Chingola, I wish you could give me that number so that I can engage that person in the background. Are you able to give me that number? Okay, great.
Yeah,
if you can get me that number so that I engage that person, because you know when someone is asking a question and then maybe it could be a case that was already concluded and then understand what could have happened. So if I can get that number, I can engage him in the background. But suffice to say that police officers are there to fight crime. Any police officer you see who's an officer in charge, his pride is not to see crime levels in his area being reported all the time. So I'll take note of that number so that I can engage him and find out exactly what would have happened. But I even know the OC Chingola and I have his number, but to engage him, say, well, there's this complaint, maybe after I've talked to him on the background and find out what would have happened. But our role as police officers is to ensure that there's law and order throughout the republic.
Indeed, talking about Chingola, maybe they're just on the last note, there was some quite disturbing cases to do with the gassing just the other year, and now we've seen an update from the police service to updating that they've reopened the cases that were previously being investigated. Why now? And since we saw that it was a case which stalled for a long time.
Yes, of course, you know that case we didn't reach any conclusion. And this is why there's this reopening and people have been asking about it. They want to know who was behind this gassing. So, and this is why the case has been reopened, so it can be investigated. And we are calling upon members of the public that could have information, please, to come forward and give us information so these persons can be prosecuted. Because this is a case that was not actually concluded. It was just died a natural death. And now there's a new command in place. We have officers that are there, and they say, well, we want to find out what is the conclusion of the whole matter. So this is an opportunity for us Zambians, especially those that suffered at the hands of this crime, that they need to come forward and give information so the person behind this crime can be arrested.
And Mr. Monga, what is the situation for Zambia in terms of the use of forensic science to solve crimes?
Well, we have an active forensic department where we are able to investigate these issues. Like right now, even the issue of Pamela, we have applied that forensic science to ensure that we're able to get to the bottom of this matter. Not only in this case, even in our other cases. Wherever we need forensic science to help us with investigations, we're able to do this. And we have been doing this actually, and we'll continue doing this thing. And if out there are people that even of information or cases that relate to this, they can come forward to the police and be able to help them.
Okay, and even as we conclude, Mr. Monga, there's another pertinent issue where people have lost phones. They have actually reported with the code IMEI to the police, but then these phones have not been recovered. What's the take from the Zambia police on that?
Great question. You know, you have to understand that the police does not have the database for phones. Okay, the database lies with the mobile providers and the ZICTA. Okay. So, in fact, on that point, let me mention this fact that please avoid buying second-hand phones. Because all what this does is that you are actually creating a market, especially in the street, where somebody is selling a phone. You know what that does? These criminals, what they do is, they will go into the house, kill somebody, get a phone, then come on the street, sell that phone to you. As when we start checking now the trail or investigating, we'll find you with a mobile phone, which was involved in a murder. So we'll take it that you are the one that killed such a person. This is how dangerous it is to buy a phone just on the open street. Okay? So, some people would have been cried, no, why am I being detained? Okay, tell us the person who sold you this phone. Then you fail even to locate the person because you just found him in the street. He has no established place. You don't have address, you don't know him. You know, he sells this phone and disappears. Then he's actually lumping all those criminal activities related to that phone on you. This is how dangerous it has become now to buy these phones on the street. So avoid buying these phones on the street. And you're actually creating a market for these criminals. Because when they steal, they come on the street, they sell it. Maybe you can even buy your own phone again on the street. So it's very important that people don't buy these phones because these phones have criminal activities behind them, most of them.
Okay, and lastly, we've also seen a number of crimes in the community, and then I think most of them, police say they've been investigating, but we've not really got an update. So are police up to task in maybe bringing some of these criminals back to book. And most of these are alleged to be community gangs who are commonly known as junkies. So what is police doing about this situation?
The danger or the challenge that we have with journalists is you want to attach a time frame to investigations. Now, investigations don't happen like that. Investigation simply means that you have a piece of paper, a 4A size paper, you tear it in 2 pieces and you throw it in the air. The piece of paper are all over. The other one is in Mtende, the other one is in Chirenje, the other one is in Chongwe. So, when we are investigating, we are merely doing that, picking the patches to put them together. And this is why it's key for members of the community to collaborate with the police. Because some people that information that we are looking for, they have it. Like in the case of Pamela. Some people may even know where Pamela is, but they are quiet. Maybe if they told us that where we have seen where she is, she's at such a place, as police, we bring our resources together and do it quietly and be able to treat such a person. Okay? So people need to work with the police. You know, the police actually foresaw this need of working with the members of the community way back in 1995 when we did police reforms, where we allowed for the formation of this neighborhood watch. Okay, yes. This neighborhood watch you are seeing, it's not just, they don't just happen by accident. No. The law had to be amended so that it would allow for formation of neighborhood watch so that we're able to work together with the police. So members of the community are called upon to join forces with the police. There are only 2 sides of the coin. You are with us or you are against us. Okay, in your concluding remarks, what's your message on how Zambians use social media? The issue of social media, I want to warn people that the way people think that because you are having a gadget in your hands and you are pressing buttons, then you are not able to be seen where you are. In fact, it has even become very easy for us to track you. It's very easy for us to track you than even when you use the word of mouth. Because what you have posted there is written. So we'll follow you up. And we have the high-tech equipment to do that. People think that the police is still sleeping or maybe it's an old police. We want to warn them that immediately you do that, you'll be picked. And I'm telling you, even now, people have been issuing derogatory statements against the head of state, defamation statement, bordering on defamation. We have just gone to pigeon like a fish, just get them and take them, bring them to the police, and they're arrested because of what they have been doing. So people think that maybe the police is backward, we don't have this technology. No. Please, behave yourself on social media. No, be accountable for your actions. Don't issue statement that border on criminality. You issue a statement, like this person who was posting that Pamela Chisupa has died, he was in Mpika, who just went and fishing from the class. He's actually a student, just fishing from the class and got him. And as I'm talking now, he's in our custody.
Okay, Alex?
Yeah, just to take an opportunity of the police spokesperson, Mr. Rehamonga, just to wish our journalists out there for celebrating press freedom. I'll just give you a chance to just wish them, because there is that, notion to think the police is against the press, a conversation that have been quite long discussed. But just take that opportunity to wish the journalists out there.
Yes, we'd like to, as Zambia Police Service, would like to wish all the members of the media fraternity a happy Press Freedom Day. And this is just to show you how the police is concerned with the press. That's like that they have a designated person solemnly to attend to all your press queries in the names of myself and my team, the whole PR team that is committed. I'm sure you will see how we interact on our WhatsApp platform. You are free at any time to post your press queries there to ensure that these press queries are attended to. But of course, we must understand that some of the matters that you want us to talk about, they're not yet resolved. And like I said earlier on, that the fora that we are using at times to update the nation may actually also inform the symptoms that what we are looking for. But however, going forward, we are ready as Zambia Police to engage the media at any time, like it is with you. You didn't need to pay me to come here. Maybe people think that when I come on a show that I'm paid. No, it was just a phone call. I did not pay him. You called me yesterday and very later and said, please come for the show, and I've come. So even any other institution, any media institution, they are free to get to hold of us and engage us. Of course, you have to engage us reasonably, because I've seen some media houses where they go on a show, then they start calling you like now, calling at me, he's not responding. But I'm on another show here. Yes. So you need to engage us at least in advance, even a day. So, okay, I want to call you on such a time so that you're able to pick your phone. Because like now, my phone is on flight mode because I'm on a show.
Yes, indeed, definitely. Mr. Rehamonga was who's actually the police service spokesperson in our studios as we close this segment. Thank you so much, sir, for making it, and we'll come back again.
You're welcome.
We'll just go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with our conversation on sanitation and water sector.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Well, thank you for staying in tune with us. And we're just from discussing the issue of national security and social media with Zambia Police Service spokesperson, Mr. Ray Amonga. Quite an interesting topic. As we go now to another segment where we discuss the water sector in Zambia, focusing mostly on the issue of sanitation in our communities. And we'll be joined by one of the stakeholders, the Plumbing Association of Zambia President, Mr. Moses Chongo, who's actually going to join us. But before we do that, we'll be able to actually show you some stories that we compiled in light of sanitation. Maybe a comment from my co-host Zipporah on sanitation from Helen Kaunda and other communities that are quite highly densely populated. Yes, definitely. So this has remained a problem for a long time, and Alex, I'm sure you remember this year we've gathered some stories just showing how the sewer system is. And if you remember that area, Mutendere and Helen Kaunda, that's one constituency, Munali. And that's why we recorded the cholera case in Mutendere East. Actually, so we just need to highlight on some of the issues that may actually be causing some of these problems. So let's just take a look at some of the stories that we gathered from there. This is not rainwater but sewer water which has flooded some houses in Lusaka's Helen Kaunda area, forcing the residents to find ways of navigating just to get out of their homes
as the spillage has flooded their yards. One of the affected residents, Mr. Frank Mubita, explains that they have been living in this condition for over 1 week now, as the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company has only been making promises of fixing the spillage despite being reminded various times. He explains that they have to keep the windows shut all the time due to the unbearable smell. Mr. Mubita says owing to the situation, he and 3 of his children are not in good health.
As per yesterday, they promised to come and do unblock this situation. The problem is that I'm told one of the batteries of the vehicles is down, so I don't know whether I take by the weight they may come, they may not, I don't know. But we need the assistance because health-wise we've been affected. Even me, you can even hear my voice. I'm not all that 100% all right.
Others in the neighborhood explained that they are not able to use water from their taps due to the sewer problem, as the area also has broken water pipes. They state that they have to buy water for drinking and look for alternative places to buy water for household purposes.
And then we have a tap that side which we've just abandoned. They thought there's just some drops that comes out from the water, from the tap. So sometimes we could put something there, at least maybe the container can be full, but we've just stopped doing that. We've stopped using the tap because we can't go behind. We've tried to disinfect the area, but we've failed. Because it comes, especially when it's raining, automatically when there's heavy rain, it comes out.
The sewer problems that we're having here, like we're facing challenges of the pipes being blocked. That's the water we can't access water from the inside. And then now, for that reason, we have to buy water, and we have to get water from elsewhere to wash plates and cooking.
The stench is one thing that's really hitting us bad. And then I've also got other younger siblings that play a lot and love to play outside most of the time. But then with this kind of flowing and all that, they cannot come outside and play because we fear for them contracting the waterborne diseases such as the cholera, the dysentery, the typhoid and all that.
Other neighbors allege that the water utility company has been citing lack of inadequate equipment to address the situation, calling for patience.
The operators we need to use a machine.
Was last time when you came, you used the machine the other side. Okay. But now I'm told the machine is down, you don't have the, but just imagine the entire institution.
The thieves stole the 2 batteries which were there, but today I was told that they've bought the batteries, so meaning that it's operation. So right now I'm not working.
However, various calls made to the public relations manager, Mr. Shamba Muzungu, went unanswered by broadcast time. The residents have called for quick action to address the situation, fearing the worst. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
In Zambia, the water and sanitation sector has continued to face its challenges, ranging from supply to poor sanitation, and this is due to various factors, which includes the lack of proper plumbing infrastructure in the country. A number of concerns of pipe leakages have surfaced from concerned citizens, and largely this is due to poor plumbing works. It is with this background that the Plumbing Association of Zambia has, through the support of various stakeholders, embarked on the formation of Plumbing Standards Code, which will facilitate bringing about professionalism in the sector. During the stakeholders meeting, Association President Moses Chongo has disclosed that the code will aim at ensuring standardization and regulation in the plumbing industry.
The Plumbers Show of Zambia Guest of Honor aims to bridge the standard gap among the Zambian plumbers and the community in the respect of water sanitation and hygiene, plumbing technology and environmental health and safety, as exposed by the Millennium Development Goal number 7, which aims to ensure environmental sustainability by the year 2030.
Mr. Chongo has appealed to all stakeholders to support this noble cause.
Linking our members also is one of our responsibility. Learners in training institutions and those willing to have access to job, enable them to have opportunity and quality skills, training in water-related and plumbing skills, also to collaborate with other stakeholders to provide the resources to enable vulnerable people in the community.
Meanwhile, Minister of Technology and Science Director for Vocational Education and Training, Alex Simumba, has commended the association for this initiative, saying the code will achieve the supply of safe water and improve sanitation through regulated plumbing services.
And this plan of coming up with the National Plumbing Standard Code comes at the very right time, and we need more citizens to get involved in the development of our great nation, Zambia, and we must grow it. So this first ever Plumbing Standard Code Consultative Forum is good, and please let it help regulate the plumbing industry in Zambia.
Plumbing skills are critical in supplementing the water sector development. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, in Lusaka.
So we now move into our next segment. We are looking at sanitation issues and plumbing issues here in Zambia, because there have been many concerns over the years, because by 2030 we want to achieve sanitation for all, that sustainable development goal number 6. But with the current situation in the country, are we towards that goal? We've seen from some stories that we've just played where there are serious sanitation problems in Helen Kaunda and Mutendere. Alex?
Indeed, we've noticed quite some issues relating to poor sanitation, especially now densely populated. And now we have in our studios one of the stakeholders in the water sector, that is the Plumbing Association of Zambia, President Mr. Chongo. Good morning and welcome to this show.
Good morning, thank you.
And we have the project coordinator. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to our studios.
Thank you, Mama.
Yes, so plumbing has got really an impact on the water sector, as it was earlier alluded. Now, just maybe a brief background and mandate of your organization in the water sector in Zambia, Mr. Chongo.
Okay. Plumbing is the most important sector in our daily life. We started the plumbing organization, that is Plumbers Association of Zambia, in 2019. Actually, it was officially launched on 18th February 2020 by the Minister of Water, Sanitation and Hygiene. The reason why we thought of establishing this organization is to ensure that the standards are also upheld and also known to every person in this country. And you know, plumbing is something that maybe people cannot even respect. They think maybe plumbers who are doing these projects are people who are doing dirty jobs and other things. Therefore, we come up with the idea to say, no, we need also to uphold the professionalism in the plumbing industry, and at the same time also to make sure that we provide quality services to the community, not only to the community, but also in the government facilities. We have a lot of challenges, you see, where people are keeping complaining in terms of substandard of projects and the substandard of materials, plumbing materials. That's the reason why we want also to protect the community in those areas. So, Plumbers Association of Zambia is the member of the World Plumbing Council, the mother body of the plumbing industry, the world. So that's the reason why we have that background of maybe having that thing that can be done according to the way the World Plumbing Council need. So that's the reason why the coming of the Plumbing Association of Zambia is to ensure that everyone is also supported, both in community and also in the public institutions as well.
Indeed, so the phone lines are open and you can join us in this conversation where we discuss sanitation, poor sanitation in the country, especially in Zambia and those highly populated areas across the country. So the numbers are scrolling on your screens, and you can join us on Facebook where we're streaming live, and do join us by commenting in this comment section, and you'll be able to review the conversation. Maybe to the project coordinator who's actually on ground ensuring that the Plumbing Association thrives. What are some of the frustrating issues that you've noticed so far in Zambia, frustrating the industry?
Okay, first of all, like the President has actually put it, plumbing is the hallmark of every construction, of every engineering construction you can talk about, okay? So you can't have a building, you can't have a school, you can't have, even this building where we are right now, there's some form of plumbing that is taking place. But I think that the challenge has been that over the years, over the past few years or many years, there hasn't been any regulation in terms of monitoring the kind of plumbers that we have and also the kind of work that is being done in terms of the quality and the standards. Okay, so the coming up of Plumbing Association of Zambia is basically to just regulate. Okay, we've got other regulators like secretaries are regulated, lawyers are regulated, economists are regulated, okay, through those associations. So the Plumbing Association of Zambia comes in to regulate plumbers in the country. Okay, so if you have a project, for example, you're building up a house, you're building up a school, you're building up something, you need a plumber to be able to put in the plumbing system in the building. And so as a project coordinator, I think our role is to ensure that, first of all, Plumbing Association of Zambia becomes self-sustainable in terms of projects. Okay, so if we're going to regulate you as a plumber, it means you need to subscribe to the association by paying some kind of amount of money, which should be able to help the Plumbing Association of Zambia exist on its own without relying on some kind of maybe support from outside. Okay. Then also, we want to also regulate training. For example, institutions that are offering training in plumbing, how can they be regulated to ensure that they offer quality training to the plumbers? Okay, in terms of the quality of training and also the standards and also the course codes. What kind of courses are they offering? Okay, so Plumbing Association of Zambia, working with other stakeholders like government and also other institutions, we are ensuring that those standards are actually met. So we are working on some codes that are going to regulate the plumbing system in Zambia.
Okay, talking of the codes, really, what are some of the provisions, maybe this will go to Mr. Chongo, provisions that you are putting in place to standardize the industry in terms of just how best the workers and those who are actually embarking on the plumbing works do a great job? Because we've seen complaints from communities when you employ someone to work on your whatever plumbing work you have at home, maybe a tap or bathroom, just few days or few months, it's spoiled. I mean, how best are you responding to such cases?
Okay, I think the only problem was that we have had no rules or standards that should be followed, and whereby plumbers were just working without following what is just needed to be followed. That's the reason why, for us to come up with the standards, we started with the consultations where we engaged the stakeholders from different organizations, especially Ministry of Water, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Community Development, and other ministries to see what are the challenges the community are facing. That's the reason why now we came up with the standard code. And the standard code is actually the guideline where any plumber should be following accordingly. What we want to do is that we start with also the plumber himself. Who is this plumber? Is he qualified to do that particular job? If he's not qualified, then what role are we going to play as another organization? So in that way, we also try to ensure that those who are not qualified, we train them. We link them to the training institutions. We give them a training so that they start now doing the best job what is actually needed. And at the same time, we try to find out what is happening to maybe a client. For sure, clients are keep on crying and maybe complaining about the substandard works. So we see what is the problem. Then when we find the problem, that's when now we are going to have to work on that problems. Now, by doing so, we tried again to find out from the World Plumbing Council, the mother body, to say what are we going to do concerning the standards. For sure, they responded positively, and they gave us the template. And this template is the one that we actually worked on. Remember last week we had the consultative meeting where we were discussing and evaluating the same standard code. And it was a wonderful standard code which stakeholders actually agreed to ensure that this should be followed, both in the community, the plumber himself, and also the other stakeholders. So for now, what we are doing as the plumber organization, we want to make sure that any plumber want to do that particular job, you have to first to pass through the plumber show of Zambia. We test them, then we give them membership certificates. When we give them membership certificates, then it means that these people are now protected. So whatever happening in the community, whatever maybe the client will be complaining about, so they'll come through plumber show of Zambia, so that together we harmonize issues, and then we continue working in the standard way.
Just maybe as an addition as well, when you're talking about courts, you raised an issue of complaints by members of the public. Like the President has actually rightly put it, the major problem has been regulation. Okay, because anybody who has not even been trained can actually practice plumbing. They can go and tie up a pipe there. But then the thing is that the quality, so we are actually talking about the quality of the plumber himself, the quality of the materials that have to be used, also have to be standardized. Because it's not every other material that you can use. Some of the complaints you are trying to bring up are because the quality of material we are using also is also of substandard. Okay, so first of all, let's look at the plumber. Has he been trained? What training has he gone? Which institution has he gone to? Okay, is that institution regulated? Secondly, what materials are we using for us to be able to offer that plumbing material? What standard is it? So all that is going to be regulated. Now, with the coming up of Plumbing Association of Zambia, what we are saying is that, can you regulate the kind of plumbing materials that are entering the country through working with Zambia Bureau of Standards, for example? What kind of taps are we receiving as a country? Okay, what kind of plumbers are we training? What kind of training are we offering? So when we begin to do that, then you realize that we begin to move from where we are now as a country to a level where sanitation, water and sanitation becomes something that is very viable. Okay, plumbing is a skill. Okay, you can literally provide jobs. There are so many people that are unemployed and they provide plumbing services to people. That's employment. Okay, the country today is talking about offering employment. Jobs, people that are jobless. Plumbing can be a skill that can be enhanced and given to so many people, and they begin to offer that because construction is happening everywhere. Okay, construction is happening every day. Who is offering the plumbing in those constructions? Who is putting the plumbing systems in those buildings that are being constructed? Every building, like I said from the beginning, has some form of plumbing. So who is offering those services? What kind of materials are we actually installing in those buildings? Okay, so for us as Plumbing Association of Zambia, what we are saying is that going forward, I think that this industry, this subsector of the water and sanitation must be well regulated.
Great.
Definitely. And also we have,
okay, let's just take a call. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, sir.
Thank you so much. Your name and where are you calling us from?
My name is Ndonji.
Yes, from where?
I'm actually the Secretary General for Pandas.
Oh, great. Your comment?
Yes. So, plumbing is something that I've regarded as something to do with the dirty jobs. But it's something that is closer to our heart. So, we are calling upon the people to buy into the idea so that we can eliminate the diseases, waterborne diseases that we are facing in our community to our brothers and sisters. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that contribution. Before the caller, you had the thought to complete, and maybe you can just respond to that call.
Okay, so what my brother is saying is that, look, as a country, I think that one of the contributions towards waterborne diseases is because of unregulated plumbing. Because, look, if you don't do good plumbing, you're going to have leakages. Okay? And if you're going to have leakages, on those leakages, diseases are going to go in. Okay, when you have a leakage, water is supposed to be watertight. A plumbing system is supposed to be watertight. But if you do not apply good plumbing methods, you're going to have leakages, and those leakages are going to allow disease to go in there. Infection, dirty water which is outside, going into the system. As a result, you're going to drink dirty water. You see that logic? So as a result, what we are saying is that because of what my brother just said there, for us to be able to reach to a level where we have zero leakages, non-living water, it means that the plumbing system must be well regulated, and we need to have quality plumbers, we need to have quality materials, so that we move from a place where we have disease now to a place where we do not have diseases.
Indeed.
Yes.
Zepar.
Definitely. And also maybe with the coming of the Constituency Development Fund, have we seen any plumbers maybe forming cooperatives to maybe enhance their work? Have we seen any plumbers so far responding to the CDF?
What we are saying as Plumbers Association of Zambia is that, look, plumbing is a skill. Plumbing is a skill that has been neglected for a long time. Okay, so with the coming of CDF now, CDF has always been there for
increase.
But there's now been an increase where we have 1.6 million to about 25.7 million. Okay, so what we are saying is that the plumbers out there, why don't we form cooperatives? Why don't we form companies? Even as Plumbers Association of Zambia, we want also to participate in trying to advance the vision that the country has. Okay, the country's vision is that we're going to have good water and sanitation by 2030. Okay, yes. So the question is that how are we going to achieve that? It is through ensuring that all of us who have the skills of plumbing form cooperatives and contribute. Because like CDF is going to be maybe constructing houses, constructing hospitals. Who is going to be installing in plumbing in those hospitals and the schools? It's the plumbers. So Plumbing Association of Zambia is coming to regulate the people who are going to be offering those services. Okay, so talking about cooperatives, Plumbing Association of Zambia has the authority to be able to offer those services. So what we are saying is that government can actually work with us. Government is actually working with us, in fact, let me put it that way. Whereby if there are projects, they can come to Plumbing Association of Zambia and help and ask for that kind of assistance, whereby we'll be able to offer them the services of plumbing in case of the 20% which government has always been talking about going to indigenous Zambian companies. Okay, so we are saying we can work with government, we can work with other stakeholders to provide this service to the public.
In terms of working with other stakeholders, which even embarked on the process of standardizing and developing the code, how much support are you getting from the government through the ministries that you're working with?
Okay. Currently, we are receiving support from the government, although the association is becoming like, it seems like it's new, but slowly we are moving and we are trying to penetrate until we find what we need. Just in addition,
that's what Mr. Chongo. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm all right, thank you. Your name and where are you calling us from?
Okay, I'm calling from within Osaka.
Indeed, your name?
Okay, this is Pukeni.
Great. Your contribution to the topic?
Actually, it's a question.
Indeed. Indeed.
Yeah, what are the qualifications for somebody to become your member?
Okay.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for that question. Over to you, Mr. Chongo.
Okay. I should respond?
Yes, you can respond.
Okay. The qualification for someone to become a member, first, the person have to be a qualified plumber, either a trade test level 1, level 2, level 3, or craft certificates. If that person have got those requirements, then you have to apply to Plumber Shop Zambia. Then you have to pay the subscription fee, that is 280 kwacha. Then that person will be given the membership certificate and also the ID. Then that person will be now a full member of the Plumbers Association of Zambia. And these are the people whom we are actually considering as in terms of maybe projects. If you have a lot of projects coming from different organizations of different means of government, I mean the government, these are the people who first consider to do these particular jobs before we even consider these people are not yet being our members.
Okay. As you complete on support from stakeholders?
Support from the stakeholders, yes, we are receiving support from the stakeholders. Currently, even if we are facing a lot of challenges in terms of mobility, we know we have got a lot of things to do in the country. You know, Zambia is big. We have 10 provinces. We need to sensitize the members or maybe the community the importance of this plumbing industry. The support we are receiving, because when, for example, we ask to do a certain project, the government is responding. And by doing so, it means that we are in connection, or maybe we are in support with the government. Last time we had a project at Munali Secondary School, Munali Boys and Munali Girls Secondary School. Indeed, we received support. So what we just want is to ensure that the government also need to ensure that the organization grow, move forward. We have got a lot of things to do. Like the coordinator said, we have a lot of projects which we need to do, even to help the government. For example, if you go around the government institutions, we find that there are a lot of disaster in terms of plumbing infrastructure. There are a lot of leakages, a lot of substandard works, where we need to help the government. How we're going to help the government is by identifying the challenges. When we identify those challenges, then as Plumbers of Zambia, we have to work on those challenges. So, if, for example, today we go to the hospital, we find that plumbing facilities are not in good condition. Yeah, it requires someone to maintain. But the government cannot see those areas. But as an organization, we're able to identify those areas. Then we have to ask the government to help us so that we maintain. I heard the coordinator said at least 20%. If that 20% can be given to Plumbers of Zambia, Plumbers of Zambia has got manpower that can even help to maintain those projects. Not only that, we have had a challenge where the government were maybe hiring people from outside country, and yet we have people who are qualified in this country whom we can use to do those particular jobs. But the money were just going out, going somewhere, instead of empowering the local people whom we have trained, and the local people who have got those qualifications. So that's the reason why the Plumbers of Zambia, we need full support also from the stakeholders, so that at least together we move forward to build our nation.
Yeah, maybe as an addition to that, what we are saying is that for us to be able to move from where we are now, we need to be able to have regulated plumbing, yes. But the point is that the projects that we have, that we are talking about, the government has given 20%, of all projects to local Zambians. And this government actually is doing a lot already in trying to help to regulate the Plumbing Association of Zambia, get to where it wants to be. The Ministry of Water and Development already is very cooperative and is helping us to actually get to where we want to be. Minister of Water Development and also Director in the Science and Technology has been supportive. They are very supportive. So that indication already shows that this government is actually supporting the Plumbers Association of Zambia, is supporting the water and sanitation sector, and want to work with government to ensure that we get to where we want to be.
Indeed.
Okay, and how much advocacy are you doing maybe to make sure that there's sanity in the plumbing sector? Like you said, anyone can become a plumber. How much advocacy are you making maybe to make the area decent, and what would you like to be the minimum qualification for someone to actually be allowed to do some plumbing works?
Okay, so advocacy already here, where we are here, we are privileged. Thank you so much, Camnet TV, to give us this opportunity to come and advocate. This is already advocacy. What we are doing is that we're trying to start like this and begin to sensitize the members of the public that, look, plumbing is actually a skill. Plumbing can be regulated, like secretaries are regulated, economists are regulated, engineers are regulated. Plumbers can also be regulated. Okay, so in terms of advocacy, we've started like this. You've invited us here, and we go on radio and other television stations to ensure that if there's a plumber out there, they must know that they've got a motherboard where they can belong. Okay, first of all. Then secondly, in terms of qualifications, okay, you need to do maybe a trade certificate. You need to get a skill of craft certificate. We're actually thinking about going to even diploma. There's no diploma or degree in plumbing in Zambia, but other countries have. So we are thinking of, okay, instead of us limiting ourselves to craft certificate, why don't we go to even diploma and degree level in plumbing? Because plumbing is a big deal. Like I said, no building can be constructed without plumbing. You can have 80 stories or 100 stories. In each one of those stories, there's actually plumbing. There's water running. How is it running? It's because plumbing has been installed. So we need to reach that level. As we are going as a country, we are developing. We keep on developing. Buildings are being constructed. And how are we going to ensure that we reach the standards? We don't want to do a 100-story building and put useless plumbing there, which starts leaking, the whole building starts leaking. No, we don't want. We want to reach those standards. So if you want to be a plumber, be regulated, so that you also have a sense of belonging. In cases where you have people doing shoddy works, you have Plumbing Association of Zambia to report to now. Okay, because earlier on you talked about people who do shoddy works. They go and do shoddy works, and then in the end the clients are complaining. Where do they complain to? Right now there's nowhere. But now, because of the coming of Plumbing Association of Zambia, those members are going to be regulated. In fact, to an extent, before you even employ a plumber, you must insist that they should have certification from the Plumbing Association of Zambia. Exactly. Okay, so we need to reach that level where we do an advert, you want our plumbers, ensure that they have certification from us.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah, so that's where we want to get to.
As we go towards closing the segment, what's your projection come 2030? How do you picture Zambia in terms of the poor sanitation we're experiencing today? Maybe Mr. Chango can take up that.
The projection, what we want is, if you go outside country, go to South Africa, or go to other countries, you find that plumbing is properly regulated. I can't do any job in other country if I'm not a member or if I'm not regulated to that particular organization. So also Zambia, we want to ensure that standards are considered, and by doing so, we are also going to contribute in terms of boosting the economy of this country. So by 2030, Plumbers of Zambia, we want to make sure that everything are now in order, so that
we're not going to see the spill and the water, maybe the drainages or the sewer being busted all over the communities.
Yeah, in fact, that's the reason why we want also to engage the water utility companies. So the water utility companies are the key employers who are employing a lot of plumbers. It is because of maybe lack of professionalism in those plumbers who are doing such works. So we want also to take trainings to those water utility companies, so that by doing so we reduce the issues of leakages, pipe bursting, and other things. Or what we want, what we are talking about is about techniques, okay, or maybe measures that we are following. What standards are we following for us to do the plumbing installations? Because if you find a lot of leakages in the community, it means that there are a lot of maybe vandalism. Even the community, they are also contributing to this vandalism. Look at this woman who is throwing the diaper in the maybe open drainage, or maybe in the septic tank or soak away. It means that they are just also contributing to what? To the blockages, in the system of the sanitation and whatever.
Yeah, maybe as an addition, sir, to your question. The thing is that water utility company is actually a key in supporting the Plumbers Association of Zambia, because like President has said, it is one of the biggest employers of the plumbers. Okay, we've got about 11 water utility companies in this country, and all those actually employ plumbers. So the question is that if they are installing up systems, water networks, if they do not have quality plumbers, then you are guaranteed that non-revenue water, which has been a thorn in Africa, is going to continue. Non-revenue water is simply water that you produce and you don't get money out of it, in simple terms. Okay. So now, if you do not have quality plumbers, if you don't have regulated plumbers, they are going to be doing shoddy works in the networks, the whole country, and in the end, you are going to continue having 50% of non-revenue water. Okay. In other countries like Japan, non-revenue water is only 3%. Here in Africa, it's about 50%. So the question is that why do we have so much water going to waste instead of raising money from it? is because of some of that is because of unregulated plumbing. So we're saying, as PAZA, we want to work with water utility companies so that we ensure that the works that they do in terms of plumbing are highly standardized works, which will not be able to compromise in terms of the quality. So we want to appeal to water utility companies to actually support Plumbers Association of Zambia, just like government is already doing. We want to appeal to them to actually support Plumbers Association of Zambia so that we get where we want to be.
Indeed, that is from us today. On the 3rd of May 2022, we've been having conversation on this platform to do with the poor sanitation in Zambia. We've been joined by the Plumbers Association of Zambia, both the coordinator and the president in our studios. And thank you so much for coming through. We appreciate your time. We'll be calling back. Zipporah can just do the wrap up for us.
Yes, it has been a very interesting segment. Earlier, we were joined by Zambia Police spokesperson, Mr. Reha Monga, who was taking us through some security concerns in the country, and we were later joined by the Plumbing Association of Zambia, just talking about plumbing concerns in Zambia and sanitation. Are we going to reach our 2030 goal of actually ensuring that we have good sanitation with some shoddy plumbing works that are done in Zambia? And so we've heard that they're calling for regulation of this sector. And so that's it from Alex and I. So tomorrow, join Patrick Soko and Sharon Kalimbula as they take you into politics. From us, it's until next week, Monday. Have a pleasant Tuesday.